part of the Press Play Podcast Network.
This episode of CAVS on the Break NBA podcast is sponsored by BetterHelp. BetterHelp is the world's largest therapy service providing professional, affordable, and personalized therapy in a convenient online format. BetterHelp removes the traditional barriers to therapy and makes mental health care accessible to everyone. I've been using BetterHelp for the last 3 months, and I have to say, it has been absolutely amazing. Signing up was super simple, and after a brief survey, BetterHelp assigned me a licensed counselor to specifically help me through my problems. The app is super user-friendly and doesn't bog you down with the busy user interface, and you can talk or message with your therapist straight through the app. Valuing your mental health is one of the most important things you can do, and there's no better way to start than BetterHelp. CAVS on the Break is proud to highlight this company and offer a promotional code at checkout. Use promo code CAVSP3 for 10% off your first month with BetterHelp. That's CAVSP3 at checkout for 10% off the first month of counseling with BetterHelp. You will not regret investing in your mental health. This episode of CAVS on the Break NBA podcast is brought to you by our presenting sponsor, Newark Autobody. With winter weather and slick road conditions comes black ice and accidents. And if you've been in an accident and your car needs a little TLC, look no further than Newark Autobody and Zanesville Autobody. Safe, reliable collision repairs is their business. Newark Autobody and Zanesville Autobody is a local, family-run, and veteran-owned business serving Newark, Zanesville, and surrounding areas. And guess what? They work with all insurance providers to make your experience hassle-free. And if you're a U.S. military veteran, even better. Ask about their special discounts for vets at the shop, and they'll be happy to help. Look, it can be hard to find a trustworthy car mechanic, but the people over at Newark Autobody and Zanesville Autobody have you covered. They do. They care for you first and make sure they keep you safe and get you back on the road as quickly as possible. Visit them at autobodyofnewark.com and autobodyofzanesville.com to get your repair started today. You can find those links in our show notes. Their iCar Gold Class team of skilled collision repair technicians will make your vehicle like new again. Again, that's Newark Autobody and Zanesville Autobody, partnering with Press Play Podcasts.
Iguodala to Curry, back to Iguodala, up for the layup. Oh, blocked by James. It's over. It's over. Cleveland is a city of champions once again. The Cavaliers are NBA champions.
What's good, Breakers? That sound means it's time for CAVS on the Break NBA podcast from the Press Play Podcast Network, presented by our good friends at Newark Autobody. And that sound also means that the Cavs still have not lost a basketball game in this glorious 2024-2025 NBA season. I am your host, Chase Smith, and with me, NBA writer from HoopsWire.com. He's our Cavs insider, national NBA writer, Sam Amico. Sam, 8-0, baby, let's go!
Unbelievable. It really is. I mean, Chase, obviously I was at the game, and I'm on my way home now. But the one thing that I noticed, and then Kenny Atkinson said after the game, was, man, we're just spent. 8 games in 13 days. He said, I think you could tell we had nothing left, and that was a mental fortitude win. We just had nothing left, and somehow mentally fought through it. Our legs weren't doing what our mind was telling them to do. The shots weren't dropping, and I think that really says something. Not every game's going to be a blowout, and you still manage to win.
You know, you could definitely tell the legs were not there. Threes were not falling. And it just seemed like there was a span of like 4 or 5 minutes there in the fourth where it was really strange, high intensity for the first week of November basketball. Like it was like, I think the Cavs wanted to win. I think the Bucks were sick of losing. I think their frustration was showing there. And I got to say, Sam, there's a couple points here that I want to talk about before we get into the stats. I got to give Darius Garland his flowers. He has played phenomenal basketball, and I was really hard on him last year, and I've been hard on him on this podcast. But Sam, he has had a phenomenal start to this season, and isn't the only reason why we're 8-0, but he's why we won tonight. That's for sure.
He's absolutely a reason why they won tonight. He's the entire reason they beat the Knicks in New York.
Yeah,
as part of this stretch. He had a 34-point game. And Kenny Atkinson, one of the things that he said is that he's clearly most proud of. He said, Darius had 39 points tonight, and and 8 assists and only 2 turnovers.
Yeah.
And he said, guess what? In Milwaukee, 12 points, 10 assists, and only 2 turnovers. So he's doing the things, whether we need him to score or distribute, to win basketball games without turning the ball over, which has always been the knock on Darius, you know? So,
yes. He never hit big shots. Anytime we needed a big shot from him, they never fell, and they've been falling this season. And to couple that with low turnovers, Sam, the vibes are high. They're immaculate right now, this Cavs team, and everyone's feeling, man.
Yeah, and you use the word Darius Garland used. You know, the vibes are immaculate was his line.
He said that,
and yeah, he said that the vibes are immaculate. We understand there's a long way to go.
Sure,
but you know what? You can only win the game that's in front of you, and he said that's what we're focused on. Just win today, whether it's practice or the game or whatever. Just win today, win the moment, and don't get too caught up in everything else. And he said, and we don't want to have that feeling what it's like when you lose. And he said, Garland said, I almost think that, you know, I forget what that feels like to lose. And that's a great feeling. So, and you're right, Chase, he hit 2 huge baskets in the lane tonight, not to mention a huge 3 that gave the Cavs the lead, 113-111 with 45 seconds left over Lillard. Yeah.
Over Lillard, going toe-to-toe with Dame Lillard. And the bucket was over Brook Lopez. He was driving the lane, crunch time, over a phenomenal defender. And buckets, Sam, it was incredible. Let me just, you know, I got to give him his flowers. He has shown up this season and played phenomenal. Let me read a couple stats. Just, you know, Sam, we were texting after they were 3-0. We didn't record last week, but let me tell you, I would have said we would have won all the games this week, man. I know I said we were going to be 3-0 after week 1. 8-0. You said you wish they went 8-0 to tie the 74. I got it right here. The 74-75 Cavs, 76-77 Cavs, who also started 8-0, is the best start in Cavs history. They tied that tonight with the victory there, 8-0. Have you been able to talk to any of those guys about what this means?
Yeah. I mean, I talked to Garland, Mitchell, both. Both of them have said it's super cool, you know, because even though, you know, Mitchell was more like, look, we got to be playing our best basketball when it means the most. But it's cool to go down in Cavaliers lore as one of 2 teams to have started 8-0. And you know, we all know, as Cavaliers Nation knows, the names on that list from that team: Campy Russell, Austin Carr, Jim Jones. All 3 of those guys are still working with the team, you know?
Yeah.
So, you know, Garland was a little more, while Mitchell said it was cool, Garland, you could tell, was a little more excited and said, look, we understand we're playing the long game here, but winning 1 game in the NBA is hard at the start of the season. To win 8 straight, he said, it's incredible what we've done so far, and we're very proud of that. And we're glad that, you know, we'll be remembered in some way or not or another forever because of this. So, they could, you know, they think it's very cool. Garland, I couldn't be happier for, simply because, Chase, you know, we were all, and rightfully so, down on him last year.
He was down on himself. You could tell he was kicking himself too.
Yeah. And hey, look, I asked him tonight, is this year different in your mind for you than it was last year? And he said, no. And yes. He said, no, in the sense that I always knew that I had these games and this type of play inside of me. I always knew it. And he said, but yes, it's a lot different in that this year I just feel much more comfortable. I feel much more, and I mean, he cited the coaching staff. He said, I feel much more at ease and less pressure. And, you know, he said, I feel like the coaching staff really has my back. And it's just taken a big burden off of me right from the start of training camp. And what I love about Garland is it's not just the 39-point nights. It's the 12-point nights, because he's still playing well during those nights. And Mitchell had 14 against the Bucks tonight. Still played shots weren't dropping, but played a very good game.
Yep. And Garland's comfortability and citing the staff has shown itself on the court. I'm going to read you some stats here, Sam. The Cavs are second in points per game in the league, third in steals per game. They're first in field goal percentage. They're second in 3-point shots made per game, second in 3-point percentage. They're third in best net rating, second in best offensive rating. They're fifth best defensive rating in the league. They have the third best bench in the league, which we can talk about Kenny Atkinson and how many players he plays here in a few moments. He's second in the league. They're second in the league in EFG percentage. I don't know what that means. I'm just going to think it means
I don't
especially
either.
effing good. Via Luke Petoskey on Twitter, I told him I was going to cite him. It says this: since 1994, 1995, 6 other teams have started 8-0. All of them have made the conference finals. Woo! 8-0, the 21st best start in NBA history. There are 7 teams ahead of them at 9-0, 3 teams at 10-0, and then we can start getting into legendary historical team stuff. We can cross that bridge in a week or so when we maybe get there, Sam.
Right.
But no doubt about it. The Cavs 8-0, feeling good, the feel-good story of the town, and I think primarily is Darius Garland for this 8-0 start, which you've talked about. Sam, I got a couple other factors for the reasons for the 8-0. You want to try to guess what they are?
I'm going to say Evan Mobley.
Yes, Point Mobley, baby.
And you'll be happy to know Kenny Atkinson said after the game, he really does a great job bringing the ball up the floor, and I want him to do it more. And I keep telling him to do it more. He's a little reluctant. He said, but I keep telling him, Evan, bring it up, because good things happen when the offense is set with you at the top of the key and then you get back down low. But really, him starting the offense, Point Mobley really has been a huge.
Did you follow that up with, you should give my podcast partner a job because he's been clamoring that for 3 years?
Of course I did.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Point Mobley. I mean, he has played with an aggressiveness that I think we've all wanted. His defense is even better somehow, and he's just stronger. And, I think there's going to be a common denominator. We talk about each of these players. You can't help but think Kenny Atkinson has unlocked another level in Evan Mobley, just like seems to have made Darius Garland feel a little more comfortable, Sam.
Yeah, and that was, the reason Kenny Atkinson pretty much got the job. Because last year, you look at the Cavs, it's like, okay, Donovan Mitchell's the best player. At the end of the season, Jared Allen, before he got hurt, was the second best player on the team. And it was, we want Evan Mobley and Darius Garland talent-wise. We believe that they can be our second and third best player, or, 1A, 1B, 1C next to Donovan Mitchell, with Jared Allen kind of 2. So I think that was, the whole reason that Kenny Atkinson was brought here, to do those 2 things, as well as to maximize your bench. And I feel like through 8 games, guess what? He's knocked it out of the park.
9-10 guys deep.
Things.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. And I mean, geez, we didn't see George Yang play this well at any time last year. Go out there and confidently knock down shots, drive to the basket, make the right play, battle his buns off defensively. I mean, George always played hard, but now he's playing hard and getting the results. And it's not just him. Sam Merrill, Ty Jerome, Isaac Okoro. I mean, all of these guys. Dean Wade, Karis LeVert weren't there tonight. Dean was sick, and Karis LeVert has some knee soreness. But Karis LeVert, through those first 6 games, he's never been so efficient. Yeah. So, Chase, I mean, the list goes on and on and on why they're playing and the way they are and winning games like this. But I just think that everybody has raised their game to another level. As Garland said tonight, 1 through 15 or 18 or however many are on their team. Yep.
And you didn't mention my favorite player in that, Sam, Luke Travers.
Yeah, he had a nice little stretcher. The thing about Luke Travers, Chase, real quick, is he's 6'8", and he can really see the floor. He's an excellent passer. So they have high hopes for him, and you could you get little samples as to why.
Yeah. So we talked about Darius Garland, Mobley, more aggressive point Mobley. Also, he's more confident in that outside shot too, and they're starting to fall.
Yeah, well, I think that, that's something that they've been encouraging to do, to at least look. And he hit a big one the other night in Milwaukee.
Yeah.
Hit a big three. Missed a couple tonight, but they're looking good. It's not like, oh, he shouldn't be taking that. It's, you miss a shot every once in a while. They're looking good, and he's not forcing them. And I think that's a big key. So he's really, really taken a next step offensively. And Kenny Atkinson will tell you there's still room to grow there. He could still get better. So, but you're right, Chase. That's a big thing. The fact that Mobley's been more comfortable on the perimeter has, of course, made Jared Allen even better offensively.
Yes. And how great is it that we've talked, 15, 20 minutes in, and we haven't mentioned Donovan Mitchell?
Yeah.
Can you just imagine we talk about Darius Garland feeling like he had a load taken off his shoulders with the new coaching regime, seeing Darius Garland play the way that he's expected to play, seeing Mobley be more aggressive, score more points, just has to, at least if you're Donovan Mitchell, feel like, oh, I don't have to put up 37, 42 points every night for us to get a chance. Like if this is what it's going to be like, woo, all of a sudden you look at longevity, and we are playing the long game. And now he had knee problems kind of in the spring going into the playoffs. Maybe that's not going to be the case now if there's other players that are playing up to the level we need to carry the load, Sam.
That's exactly it. You see Kenny Atkinson's been very, very deliberate with his substitution patterns. Mitchell's coming out for longer stretches, and that's because, and Mitchell even talked about it, it's because of the belief that you can have in not just the bench, but the other starters when I'm out there, when I'm on the bench resting. And Kenny Atkinson has talked about that. He said, sometimes it's tough as a coach. It's tough to trust your bench. That's not an easy thing to do, but our guys have been delivering, and
which makes it easier to trust in the future when they have opportunities to deliver.
Yeah, and with Mitchell said it tonight. He said, I looked at it the fourth quarter. My entire approach to the fourth quarter was just get the ball to Darius and get out of the way.
Yep.
And he said, if you look, and he's right. He said, if you watch every possession we had when I had the ball, I just got it to Darius. He's like, I didn't even worry about anything else. I just gave it to Darius and moved. So I think that's growth as a team right there.
Yep. So this third point, I just have SPIDA do what SPIDA does, and the veteran leadership he shows, the poise he shows. He, even through Garland's struggles last year, was Garland's biggest fan. Was always encouraging him, always in his ear, telling him, "Hey man, keep playing, keep shooting, keep doing what you do," and that is so important, I think, for a young team who's coming into their own, going through a playoff against Magic, who was hungry and scrappy and physical. Like, we needed someone like that, and he's been everything. We talked about this last episode, everything we've needed and more. Sam, I just want to go through kind of the 8 games we've won, because we didn't record last week, and we had a crazy week in Cleveland last week. We slate 1, Raptors, Pistons, Wizards, ho hum hum, 3-0. But then we had the Knicks at Madison Square Garden. That was fun. Then the Lakers came to town. We didn't even talk about that, Sam. LeBron, Bronny, what a special one. We ran him off the court, right? And then Bronny comes in. It was almost like a high school game. Everyone's cheering for him. He scores. Place goes wild. Very fun just to watch. How was that in person, Sam? Were you at the game?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it was very cool. The thing that I'll always remember about that game is the Cavs, blew him out, ran him off the court.
Yeah.
It was 5-6 minutes left. And I remember LeBron got called for a travel, and he slammed down the ball. He was mad at himself, and he just went straight to the bench. He checked himself out, like, I'm done. And so he was so mad, he was exasperated. And after the game, though, he was all smiles, beaming like the proud father that he was, that Bronny got in there, that they were chanting for. Bronny and that he scored that basket. So, that's my that's my main memory is how mad LeBron was at getting blown out. But yet at the end of the game, because his son played and hit a bucket in his hometown team on their court, was just very proud moment for him. So, it's really cool. That's one thing about fortunate, as blessed as I am, Chase, to cover the NBA is I get to experience all those things and see all those things. But, and with something like that, I've never really cared one way or the other about the LeBron. Totally apathetic. I've just not been I'm so focused on all the news across the NBA that hasn't been a big focus. But when he hit that basket, Cleveland, it was the first time I paused and thought, man, that is really, really cool.
Yeah. And
if you're a dad, which both of us are, you just it's just a cool moment. You can appreciate it.
And LeBron gave Bronny props. He said he did better than I would have done in my rookie year in that spot. All the chanting your name, all that pressure, composure, stepping up and hitting that shot. He was very complimentary of his son, and it was a super cool moment, man. You're right. How cool. It's good for them. Good for them. Good for them. Very excited. Anything else on this first couple weeks, Sam, before we take a break and head to the rest of week 3 slate?
Yeah, one cool thing that I don't think that the listeners know that I also get to experience that I think is really cool is that Donovan Mitchell attends all of Darius Garland's press conferences and sits in the back with the rest of the media and asks questions. They never make it on the air, but yeah, he's always back there. And it's just another example of kind of team camaraderie.
Yeah, well, I need to get up there so I can just happen to sit by Spider just for a second. So
that'd be cool. That's a cool moment.
All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk about the week 3 slate and see what's ahead for the Cavs, the 8-0 Cavs. Stick around. Sam Amico, Chase Smith, Cavs on the break. We will be right back. This episode of Cavs on the Break NBA podcast is sponsored by BetterHelp. BetterHelp is the world's largest therapy service providing professional, affordable, and personalized therapy in a convenient online format. BetterHelp removes the traditional barriers to therapy and makes mental health care accessible to everyone. I've been using BetterHelp for the last 3 months, and I have to say, it has been absolutely amazing. Signing up was super simple, and after a brief survey, BetterHelp assigned me a licensed counselor to specifically help me through my problems. The app is super user-friendly and doesn't bog you down with the busy user interface, and you can talk or message with your therapist straight through the app. Valuing your mental health is one of the most important things you can do, and there's no better way to start than BetterHelp. Cavs on the Break is proud to highlight this company and offer a promotional code at checkout. Use promo code CAVSP3 for 10% off your first month with BetterHelp. That's CAVSP3 at checkout for 10% off the first month of counseling with BetterHelp. You will not regret investing in your mental health. This episode is brought to you by Fast Response Heating and Cooling. Fast Response Heating and Cooling is a locally owned HVAC repair company located in Grove City, Ohio, and they pride themselves in same-day service because they know how inconvenient it is to go without heat in the winter. That's why Fast Response Heating and Cooling offers same-day service or your service fee is waived. That's the Fast Response Guarantee. Did you know up to 71% of AC repairs can be prevented with proper annual maintenance and the average life is extended by 7 years? Every service Fast Response Heating and Cooling offers is completed by their highly skilled and trained technicians who have been background checked and drug tested. Their technicians are standing by to provide you with above and beyond service. Fast Response Heating and Cooling strives to offer the most reliable, fastest, and affordable repairs in the area. So if your furnace needs that winter tune-up, call Fast Response Heating and Cooling at 800-243-7592 to schedule your maintenance or repair today. Again, that's 800-243-7592 and click the link in the show notes. This episode is brought to you by our good friends over at Santinos Pizzeria. Santinos Pizzeria offers old-fashioned, stone-baked, thin and crispy pizzas for your entire family to enjoy. And if pizza is not your thing, which I have no clue why pizza wouldn't be your thing, but if you wanted to try something else, you have to get their deliciously fresh salads or subs. Bottom line, you cannot go wrong with any item on the Santinos Pizzeria menu. Personally, my family loves the barbecue chicken pizza and their Italian subs. We also love their pepperoni and banana pepper pizza. They have incredible cheese sticks and cheesy bread. It's just the best. It's so amazing. Every time we love it, we go. It is so delicious. It's conveniently located off 270 South in Columbus, near Georgesville and Broad Street. Santinos Pizzeria is proud to offer delivery to the surrounding community. And if you're looking for a special treat this holiday season, you have to check out the store in person. Santinos Pizzeria is full of Christmas cheer with decorations from wall to wall. They go all out in their Christmas decorations, and a little birdie told me they may be getting a special visit from Santa this season. So you have to go check it out. Dine-in seating is available, so make sure to bring the whole family. And when you stop in, tell them Chase from Press Play sent you for a special treat. All right, we are back. Sam Amico, Chase Smith, right here, Cavs on the break. Sorry I missed you last week, but we got you here in the week 2, beginning of week 3 here on election day. You're probably listening to this on election day. Who knows what's happening today? But what we do know is what's going to happen for your Cleveland Cavaliers going into the week. Wednesday, we go to Nolans against the Pelicans. They are 3-4, Wednesday, 8 p.m. And then we have a game Friday, November 8th, 7:30 at the Rock, hosting the 6-1 Warriors as of right now. And then Saturday, back-to-back, we host the 3-4 Brooklyn Nets. Sam, it's hard not to overlook the Pelicans at the Warriors game coming up here on Friday.
Yeah, but you better not overlook the Pelicans because, you know, if they have – now, look, they've got a lot of injuries themselves. They
McCollum's out. Murray's out.
McCollum's out. Murray and Herb Jones, who's a really good defender for them. Yeah. So, and Zion Williamson. I actually watched the Pelicans-Hawks game on Sunday.
There you go.
In New Orleans, the Larry Nance Jr. revenge game.
Oh.
And Larry Nance Jr. not only had a huge dunk, but also hit a 3 in the corner and blew a kiss to the New Orleans crowd.
So, David Griffin, probably.
Yeah, maybe. Who knows? But, you know, look, you're playing a road game. You only get 1 day of rest. I know that they're practicing. I think they're just probably going to watch film tomorrow.
Yeah.
But they will, you know, they have to be at the practice facility before they head over to New Orleans. So, you know, look, one of those trap games that they talk about. You go on the road, you're playing a team that's not necessarily at full strength or expected to do a lot, at least not while they're hurt. They don't even have DeJounte Murray either. So, you know, you got to be careful there if you're the Cavs then. But, yeah, I mean, all the fans are just looking forward to Friday night with the Warriors surprisingly off to a 6-1 start. 4 of those games without Steph Curry.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm going to go ahead and say they probably beat the Pelicans. Watch them lose. Sam, I'm going to say they're going to sweep the slate again, man. I'm going to say they're going to be 11-0 going into Sunday. Why not?
I'm not predicting them to lose. I did that once. I predicted them to lose Saturday at Milwaukee, and they didn't do it there. You know, that huge shot by Donovan Mitchell.
Ooh, what a sequence.
What a game. I mean, down 16 in that game. Yeah. So yeah, I'm not about to predict them to lose.
Can you imagine, Sam, just 11-0? Whoo. Man, I'm just going to be insufferable.
Well, I couldn't ever dream of that day, but I do I do think that 11-0. I'm trying to temper my columns when I'm writing after the games to not get too, you know, rah. But I'm like, I haven't had this much fun covering a Cavs team. Even LeBron's teams during the regular season would kind of, you know, they never got off to these starts because they would kind of lollygag a little bit because LeBron's whole philosophy was just get me the playoffs. So you say that all the time. But I just, you know, not a lot of people expected this, right? Nobody really predicted the Cavs to shoot out of the gate like this with a new coach and no changes. So it's been a fun story to watch and cover.
Yeah, not like this. They were predicted to finish really high in the East, but not start out 8-0 and be the belle of the ball in the NBA here. My goodness.
Right.
I mean, they're really, people are starting to take notice of the Cavs. I think if they beat the Warriors, then I think it's going to be a different level of national attention on this team, Sam. But I think we're just going to kind of wait and see maybe what happens on Friday night.
Yeah, and they should win that game. I mean, especially if the Warriors don't have Steph. But even if they do, they're coming. It's at the end. I shouldn't say at the end, but the middle part of their trip out east. I think the Warriors played the Wizards tonight. I don't have a score on that on Monday night, but I think they won at Washington. So the Cavs would be their toughest test on the trip too. So, you know, I could. To me, the big game is actually Wednesday. Can you come out of New Orleans when you're dead tired? They're at home. They're coming off a really bad home loss to the Hawks. So that could be the potential stumbling block. But at the same time, who knows? You know, the way this team has been playing, again, I'm not gonna doubt them against anybody.
Yeah, the Warriors defeated the Wizards tonight. Steph Curry played 24-3-6, and so yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's different. He's going to be playing, I imagine, on Friday.
Yep. Well, Sam, we'll see what happens. You are super busy, and I just thank you so much for taking time to talk to me, Sam. You got every time I see you, you're on a different show, man. How is life going for you? You enjoy talking this much Cavs?
Yeah. It's nice to be doing it while they're just really the talk of the league and talk of Cleveland. But no, I mean, you know, I'm doing the new show with Boobie Gibson and Rafa, the Cavs Spanish radio voice, which is called Full Court Cleveland, and that's on FanDuel Sports TV coming up this week.
Yeah.
And obviously I do my 330 to go show on Facebook that you've been a part of. And I also run that on the website. It's also on YouTube. It's called Hoops Wire Live. Yeah, I mean, I've got stuff going on but as I always, Chase, I know I've told you this before, it beats having a real job where you actually have to make a difference in the world.
Yeah. No, you had the Roadman on, man. You had the Roadman on.
The Roadman. That was great. The great thing about Kenny is, he's obviously a true professional through and through.
Yeah.
And can ask him one question, he'll carry the show for you.
He's the best. Well, Sam, you carried this show, man. And I got to say, I think you get the Junkyard Dog Award again. I think you're 2-0 here.
I don't know. I beg to differ. I think we should go back. As long as one of us doesn't really, really mess up, then we should just.
Well, you've almost messed up a couple times because you're driving out of the Cleveland and you're into the boondocks again, and you've lost connection just a few times. But as long as the Cavs keep winning, you're going to keep getting the Junkyard Dog Award, Sam. That's just, I think, how it's got to go.
All right. 82-0 then, baby.
82-0. Well, that does it for this episode of Cavs on the Break NBA podcast. Thank you all so much for downloading and listening. Shouts to the Press Play Podcast Network for making this possible. Shouts to BetterHelp. Don't forget to use code CAVSP3 for 10% off your first month of counseling. And remember, you cannot put a price on prioritizing your mental health, especially if you're a Cleveland sports fan. Shouts to Newark Autobody. Tell them Press Play sent you for a special discount. And shouts to our new sponsors, Fast Response Heating and Cooling and Santinos Pizza. Make sure to follow us on Twitter at Cavs on the Break. We always follow back. Follow Sam on Twitter at Amico Hoops. Catch all of his works and writings at Hoops Wire at Wire Hoops. 330 to go, Hoops Wire Live, and Full Court Press on FanDuel Sports TV. Sam, any other comments, notes? What's up, man?
That's it. I just, keep winning games, and I'll keep getting the junkyard, and we'll have a lot more to talk about.
Sounds great. Mike Breen, take us out.
Congratulations, Cleveland. Your decades-long wait is finally over. The Cavaliers are NBA champions.